Okay, so I'm going to be doing this in a kind of a simplified drop B tuning. All I'm going to do is take the E string, drop that to a B. I'm going to keep everything else the same. So under that we'll have the A, D, G, B, E. So low B up top here. And just a simplified method just to make it as easy to get to from standard tuning as possible. If you're like a hardcore standard drop B, you could just adjust all the other strings accordingly. And just kind of compensate for the fret numbers. But for here, with this tuning, it makes for just kind of like a really, really nice, just like octave power chord shape that we can use, and I think it works just fine. So, just chugging through all these different riffs in this song, we'll start with this initial one, and we'll be here at the 4th fret on the low B. We'll just do that power chord shape, so a 6 on the A, that's just an octave now. Okay, so here we hit that, the 4 and 6, took it up to the 11 and 13, 9 and 11, 7, 9, and then just to a big open low B, so open low B, 2A, and you can even throw that 4 on the D with that just for a nice 5th in there. Alright, and then we kind of start it over now, but we're just going to change the final chord. Alright. A little pickup in between that, we just hit the 7 and 9 again. So, alright, now we kind of start it over. Do the 4 and 6, do our 11th, 9, 7, walk down again. Now we take it all the way up to 12 and 14. And then just for that's out, hit the 11 and 13. And just cycle it from there. Alright, and over the top of that, the second guitar is just kind of doing like these bends. In this tuning, it's a little tricky here, so we'll, with this first bend, typically you would want to bend like the 1st fret here, but that's kind of a real pain in the ass. So instead of just bending that to a full, we could just bend the 2nd fret to a half. So just hit that little half bend. Okay, and then we kind of walk it up. We bend, after holding that for a moment, we bend the 4 on the G with the 2B under it. Nice full bend there. And then up to the 6 and 4 for the same deal. Start it over, bend that 2 for a half. Okay, hold that a moment, and then we bend the 6 and 4. Okay, just take it all the way up to that one, and then we bend under that, the 6 on the B, and release. Alright, and then it kind of continues like the bending. Alright, so we, for the second half of it here, we do like a bend at the 6 G with the 4B under it. Bend the 9 and 7. Okay, and then the 12 and 10. 13, 11. Okay, now I'll kind of start it over. Bend the 6 with the 4 under it. 9 with the 7. 12 and 10. And just take it back to the 9 and 7. Alright, we would just go through that whole string there for a handful of times. Then you kind of cap it off with this little, pentatonic scale here where we go B string, bend the 14. Once again, release it off to 11. Bend the 13 G. You can take it higher. Bend the 16 on the high E. Release it off to 14. Something like that. Then we get into this kind of faster paced second riff here. A string, couple 4s, 2D back to 4A. Then we go 4 to 4 again. Then we just change the bass note. We come off to open A, couple 2D, open A. Open A, 2D, open A. Do the first bit again with the 4s and 2s. Then we shift up here to the 5 on the low B, couple 4A, 5, low B. Switch the bass note, couple 7s on the low B, 4A, 7. Alright. Once the verse gets going, or kind of like the second verse, a lot of different parts to the song. So next kind of chilled out spot where it's like the bass. The guitar just kind of does like a few notes here, where it picks through this D flat look here, where we're gonna go 6D, 4A, 6D, 4G. It's like 7 kind of vibe, chord 7. Alright, it does that initially, and it just holds that out for a while, and then it'll kind of like string scrape, and then it'll start it again. But then it adds a second part where it'll pick the 6D, 4A, 6D, and then do a little bend on the 6G, release it off the 4. And then the next riff, start here at the 7 on the low B, hit it, and then we're going to want this kind of specific picking pattern on the D string here, where we go 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 6th fret, little hesitation, once more, little hesitation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that. And then we drop it down to the 2nd fret on the B, do that same bit with the 1 on the G. Alright, zoom up to 5 on the low B, and then 4 on the D. Alright, and then just up to 9 on the low B, and then 9 on the A. Alright, and after that, we kind of start off another string of power chord shapes. This is kind of like a chromatic descension here, where we start at 7 on the low B with the 9A. Kind of hold that for a moment. 6 and 8, 5 and 7, 4 and 6, and we kind of get closer together now. We go 4 and 6, 2 and 4, open and 2nd on the A, and then back to the 2 and 4. Alright, and after that we kind of get like a variation of that, but more of like a big string back and forth. It kind of has that funny like marching band vibe at this point. I don't know, but it starts here with the 7 and 9, and then 2 and 4, back to 7 and 9, 9 and 11, 2 and 4, 9 and 11, back to 2 and 4, and then kind of get a little bit closer here together. We go 4 and 6, 5 and 7, 4 and 6. Open and 2, 2 and 4. And then we do this sliding up, where we come up to 9 and 11, and we start kind of strumming on it a little more, where we'll hit this, a few strums, slide it up to the 11 and 13. Alright, up to 12 and 14. Up to 14 and 16. That type of deal. So we went. And after that, you get a bit of a solo in there. I'm not going to do the whole thing step by step there, but I'll give you examples of kind of the scale being used. It's A flat minor pentatonic, and if you know your minor pentatonic scales, you know it's the typical bit where you could be like this position here for the A flat, where we bend like a 6G, hit the 4 B and E, do a bend at 7B, hit that again, release it off to 4. Bend the 6 G off to 4, bounce between like the 4 G, 6D, and you just play around with that pentatonic scale. And then you can take it higher, which would be in like the high E, like the 19 off to 16, 19, 16 B, 18, 16 G, 16 D. Just playing around with that scale. That's about as far as I can get with that. So have fun with that and let her rip.